Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well and staying safe during this time. Thank you for those who are joining this video. So for those who don't know, my name is Alexander Florio, and I'm one of the co-founders of Swob. And for those who have seen our videos before, you know that we like to provide some information on tips and tricks that you can do to help beef up your resume, what you should be doing during interviews, and different things that you can learn that will help you land a job. Now, again, for those who might have seen in the past, we've done videos talking about how to build a proper resume. But today I thought I would talk about something a little different and show some examples of poor resumes and poor resume etiquette, and also horrible etiquette when communicating with a potential employer. So when I say horrible, I want everybody here to really prepare themselves, because what I'm about to show you isn't meant to be funny, although you might find it a little amusing, but it's meant to really show you that, this might seem obvious never to do, but these are how some people send out their resumes to potential employers. So I want to show you some real examples of just really poor resumes and poor etiquette that I've received, and show you that these are things that if you're doing them, stop immediately and make sure you're really sending out the resume that you want to be sent to an employer, and really make sure that you're putting your best foot forward when you're actually communicating with these employers. So before I show the resume examples, I want to talk about communication with employers. So a lot of people will be pretty brief in their response to an employer if they ask to be sent their resume, and that's fine. But I've seen examples in the past where people have sent me a resume and said, here's my resume, with spelling mistakes, grammar errors, and really providing no context to the employer. And that, to me, is poor communication and poor etiquette. You should always provide a little brief summary about yourself and the role that you're applying to when you're communicating to an employer. And this might also seem very obvious to you, but it should not have any spelling mistakes or grammar errors. For me, if I get a resume that has mistakes or grammar errors, big red flag. And that's something that I see right away. And to me, it says, you're not taking the time to really care about what you're sending me. And if you can't even communicate this properly to me, how can I trust you when speaking with potential clients or customers? So these are things that really stand out to employers. And so you really want to make sure you have proper etiquette when you're communicating with these employers, because if you're sending something just saying, here's my resume, or you send something that has mistakes, the employer isn't going to know who you are, and they're not going to trust you if you're already doing these types of things. So I really want you to keep that in mind, that you need to be professional and really be precise when you're writing an employer. And there are so many resources that you can look at and view that will help you if you're struggling when writing to an employer. But now I want to start showing you some of these resume examples that I have here with me. And I want to show you these because I want everybody who watches this video, I want to make sure that you're not doing these things. Because if you're doing these things and sending your resumes out like this, the employer is not even going to acknowledge you. And so I want to begin by showing you the first example that I have. This was a real resume that I got sent to me. Now, as you can tell, it was so blurry, you can't even make out the person's name or anything that's written on this page. So first things first, send a resume that the employer can read. This looks like it had potential to be a pretty decent resume. I mean, it's properly formatted, but you can't read one word that's on this page. And so people watching might, again, think it's obvious not to do these, but people are doing it. So keep that in mind. Make sure your resume is legible and that the employer can actually read what's on the page. Because when I saw this, I didn't even know how to respond. Second example. So if you look here, this is clearly somebody who just took a screenshot from their Facebook page. And this is just some pretty basic information that they've included. Now, first things first, if you're going to screenshot an image of your resume, don't have at the top Messenger and your phone and that you've screenshotted it through your phone, and don't have at the bottom the Facebook home button and play button and the notification button, all the Facebook buttons there, because this again shows laziness. This person clearly didn't take any time to send their actual resume, because I know that Facebook can actually create generated resumes for you. But this person just didn't take the time, didn't care, and they didn't even bother to cut out the bottom parts here from Facebook or at the top. So to me, just shows laziness and a lack of caring. So if you're sending your resume out like this, stop. This example was one that I got, and I really couldn't believe it when I got this resume sent to me, but this isn't even a resume. So again, this person here just included to get a job, put where they went to school, and their experience that just says volunteer doctor office. To me, this shows just zero common sense. This person first of all, didn't actually include a resume. They just thought by including a couple sentences up there that would be enough information. But when I saw this, it's just, how am I supposed to respond to something like this? And you tell me, how would you respond if you were an employer and this is what somebody sent to you? It's embarrassing. It shows zero care. It shows that you don't care at all. So again, if you're sending out a resume like this, this isn't a resume, but if this is what you're sending an employer, stop immediately because they will not hire you. Another example. Okay. This person here sent a resume where they have highlighted certain things and certain mistakes you see, they've whited it out and wrote in the resume themselves with a pen. This again shows zero work ethic. It shows to me that this person is lazy, and rather than going online and making these edits to their resume, they just chose to do the lazy way, cross it out and write it in there. And one other thing that I want to mention too that just drives me nuts as an employer when I receive resumes is do not take a picture of your resume and send it to the employer. That is one of the biggest things that drives me nuts. Whenever I see that, right away, I disregard it because, again, it shows laziness and it shows you don't care. Send it to the employer as a PDF format. Make sure it's clean, make sure it's organized, and make sure it doesn't have different things like this where they've highlighted it, their work experience and education and had mistakes here that they just wrote in there with a pen. It's a horrible format. Don't be doing this. Now this person here, this person also took a picture of their resume. And see, the sad thing is this actually looked like a pretty decent resume when I first saw it. But then you see at the top, again, they wrote in something here. Don't be doing that because, like, you tell me, does that look good to you? No. And they also, again, took a picture of their resume. And so you could see it's a little blurry. If this person had gotten rid of this at the top, didn't write anything on this page, and actually sent their resume as a PDF format, I would have no issue with this resume. But things like this just completely ruin this resume for me. So please don't be sending out resumes like this. So I know that so I wanted to show you those examples because I know some of you will watch this and think, I would never in a million years send out my resume like that. But some people are doing it. And those are the people that aren't ever going to be considered seriously for a job. So if you're sending your resume like this, stop. Make sure it's clean, make sure it's properly formatted, and make sure it's a PDF format. There are so many resources that you can take advantage of when building out your resume that will help you format it properly. Things like Canva. And there's so many examples that you can Google and learn about to make sure that your resumes are properly formatted. Because these examples that I showed you are just terrible examples, and there's some of the worst examples of a resume that I've ever seen. And it's, I do feel bad because these people here aren't going to be getting hired anytime soon if they're sending their resumes out like that. So make sure you follow a proper format and you have it clean, organized, and make sure it's legible. Because if it's not legible, if it's not properly formatted, and if it's sent like one of these examples, you're not going to get that job. I hate to say it as bluntly like that, but you're not going to get hired. So please make sure you change it. And if you have questions about, building a resume or your cover letter, or even what to say when you're communicating with an employer when they ask for you to send their resume or your resume, let us know. We want to help. We want to make sure you all have an opportunity, or for those who are looking for new opportunities or looking for an opportunity, that you have a chance to really make sure you're doing the right things. So if you have questions, we always love to answer them. Send them our way. You can always send an email to us at info@swobapp.com, and our team will respond to you. And we have different tips and tricks that you can really learn about when you're communicating with an employer to make sure that you're going to stand out for all of the right reasons. Thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Take care and stay safe.